I have some thoughts over the weekend concerning this Olympics game. And I wasn't going to start there because I was almost like, is this old news? But it's not old news because the Olympics is still going on. Um, and so I want to mention this. I want to mention this, and I want to talk about this for this segment anyway. And perhaps we'll come back to it. There's lots of news to get to today. Google is literally trying to memory hole the assassination attempt on President Trump's life. We'll get into that. We'll get into the feckless Republicans and why the hell there's been no Section 230 passed. I don't know. It's nice to be able to blame the left. But the right can do a lot of things to deter the left that we haven't done. So it's time for these guys to grow some cojones. So we'll get into that as well. But let me, and speaking of growing cojones, let me go back to this Paris Olympics thing real quick and the opening ceremony and the mocking of the Last Supper. Portrait or what have you. And a lot of people, some people are saying, hey, these people aren't Christians, so we shouldn't expect them to act like Christians. Some people are absolutely outraged, and some are live and let live. They're trying to scrub the opening ceremony so that you can't see facets of that as well. And it's just funny to me because I think something is happening here, and it's really important for us to take notice of it and be encouraged as conservatives. All right. Be encouraged of this. This crap is getting old. Is anyone else so sick and tired and just straight up bored with the queering of America, with the queering of Western civilization? How about the systemic racism that the left claims exists here in the United States and in the Western Hemisphere, which couldn't be further from the truth? It's just absolutely insane. I think people are finally starting to wake up with this stuff and say, wait a minute, enough is enough. I don't want to turn on every single freaking television commercial and see something about LGBTQ or listen, I got to tell you, I've even gotten sick of the commercials where I'm like, dude, are the only couples that exist now? Are they gay couples or interracial couples? I'm like, what the heck? And people are sick of this. But I want to talk about this specifically, real quick. I can't stand what's happening. I want to talk about a bigger picture, the wussification of men. The wussification of men. I just took some notes down because I wanted to make sure that I covered everything. Consider the wussification of men. Wussified dads equals wussified churches or weak churches. Weak churches mean weak and crumbling societies. Weak and crumbling societies mean women that try to act like men or men that don't know their role or don't know their place in society. They're confused. And that's a lot of what we saw. We've seen, I read this column on Spiked, and it was really good, called Paris Olympics, a smug spectacle of wokeness. Hat tip. Thank you, Zach. All right, so we've seen the queering of curriculum. We've seen the queering of the arts. We've seen the queering of Palestine. This gentleman jokes and says, hot tip for these props. If Hamas ever invites you to discuss your theories, don't agree to meet them on the high floor of a building. Queering the pavement is the only thing they're interested in. Now, there's a lot of people that will say, and they would be correct, especially conservatives and Christians that would say, you know what? These people would never, the left, they would never, ever mock Muslims. Why wouldn't they mock Muslims? Simply because of what I just read. They know Muslims don't play. They know Muslims would throw them off of a building. But it's even deeper than that. And this is where I want to challenge you, because I don't think a lot of people think of, when I think of politics, all right, politics for me, I believe there's a political, spiritual, and a financial component to politics. Those are the three freedoms: political, spiritual, financial. All right? Political, spiritual, financial. Get that in your head. You heard it here. Political, spiritual, financial. Those are the three components of freedom. And we often talk about the political freedom. But the reason why the left and the reason why the queer, if you will, and I'm talking, listen, if you're gay, I'm not knocking you. I'm talking about these people that specifically try to mock Christianity and why they try to do it and why they're not willing to mock Muslims. It isn't just because Muslims will, I don't know, blow you up, stab you, decapitate you, rape you, and all that kind of stuff. It isn't just that. Oh, and by the way, we got to get to what happened in Israel. and how Kamala Harris, I think, played a part in that with her, stabbing Netanyahu in the back just last week. But when it comes to the queering of the Olympics, the queering of, the Paris Olympics, here's what you have to understand, too. You have to understand the spiritual component. The reason why, or another, and I would I would contend, there's a bigger reason that you and I don't even think of, that maybe a lot of people in the activists in the LGBTQ community don't even understand themselves. They can't even fathom. They can't even get it. But internally, it is there. Do you know what it is? It is a spiritual component that they don't get. It isn't just that they fear Muslims. I would argue to you, I know this is going to be hard to believe. I contend that they fear Christianity more. What are you talking about? They're willing to mock Christians. They're not willing to mock Muslims. Yeah, they're not willing to mock Muslims because of a physical fear. But the reason why they mock Christians is because of a spiritual fear. They mock Christians because they believe that Christianity is real. Christianity has the power to dive into the depths, the soul, the heart, the mind of man. And these communities know it. And that's why they need to mock Christianity. So I would encourage Christians, man, it's time to stand strong. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is about Christianity where people just feel like we have to be punked. We don't have to be punked. I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here and take this crap. I'm not watching the Olympics. You're not going to sit here and you're not going to mock my God. If you have a problem with sin, you know what? Deal with it. You and God have to deal with it. But I contend that a bigger problem with these people that you're seeing right here on the screen isn't just that they fear Muslims. That's why they won't mock Muslims for physical fear. They mock Christians because Christianity is what really, really torments their soul. It torments their spiritual nature. And that's why they feel like they have to mock it. You ever run across some of these LGBTQ activists? I've spoken to several in the past, and it's fascinating to me how many of them don't believe in God. And I don't believe that they don't believe in God. I don't think they want to believe in God because they don't want to be judged for their lifestyle. But the truth is, I'm no better than them. We're all going to be judged for our lifestyle. We all fall short of the glory of God. But what I'm also tired of is just this queering, this wussification of men. You know why we need strong men? We need strong men to be good dads, to obviously be good husbands. We need them to be good soldiers. Strong men can save societies. Strong men can restrain evil. That's why we need strong men. So I'm tired of the wussification. It's all a part of this depopulation efforts, in my opinion, by the left, whether it's abortion, whether it's, the climate change hysteria, whether it's the wussification of men where they don't want to have sex with women anymore. They want to have sex with, other men, or they're told that, to be man is to be masculine is to be toxic. Nothing could be further from the truth. Were it not for toxic masculinity, which, let's face it, there is no such thing. There is a such thing as toxic people. Masculinity in and of itself is not toxic any more than femininity is toxic. And so when I look at these Paris Olympics, these people, in my opinion, they're trying to hide from the truth. It was C-Spire that helped sponsor this. So C-Spire, I didn't even know who they were, but I know this. I'll never buy crap from them when it comes to communications products, because I'm not going to sit here and be mocked. And I hope that you will take it on, I hope that you will do the same thing. But again, I will say this. Don't take this stuff and don't believe this stuff. All of this is about the wussification of men, making men weak. The Olympics, the original Olympic motto means, or was cited, how's it? Citius, Altius, Fortius, which means faster, higher, stronger. That's what the Olympics should be. It should be about strong men and women that are just in absolute great physical shape. that entertain and do amazing things that the rest of us simply cannot do. It shouldn't be about mocking God and actually making a mockery of both women and men.
Today's show is brought to you in part by Priority Gold. Economists warn that massive tax hikes could devastate your IRA and your 401k account as the stock market braces for impact. With inflation on the rise and global uncertainty looming, it's clear why central banks and savvy Americans are turning to gold. In times like this, Proverbs 21:20 reminds us to preserve what we built. Right now, that wisdom points us towards gold. If you haven't had your eye on gold, time to make it a priority. My name is Carl Jackson, and I am urging you to call my friends at Priority Gold to find out how they can help you diversify your savings with physical gold and silver. Call 1-800-405-GOLD or visit PriorityGold.com/golden for a free gold info guide. Plus, see if you qualify for free shipping and storage. Act now to get your portfolio working for you while the market is golden. Again, call 1-800-405-GOLD, 1-800-405-GOLD to speak with a gold specialist or visit PriorityGold.com/golden, PriorityGold.com/golden.
There's a lot that I want to talk about, obviously a lot to talk about. I almost don't know where to start, to be honest with you. I kind of find myself in a weird position, but I do want to. Let me just go here. Let me start here, and then I want to talk about this thing Smurfing, and then I'm going to get into Kamala Harris because it's going to be my goal to define Kamala Harris. I've been over the weekend. It is very important. You have to understand this with politics. Politics is there's a lot of narrative. There's a lot of political theater. And my buddy Christopher Hart actually does a great job explaining this with the American Adversaries. But politics, you have to understand, there's a lot of political theater tied up into politics. There's a lot of narrative. There's a lot of emotion. I'm one of these guys where I get frustrated, and I get emotional because there's not enough logic. There's not enough pragmatism, not enough common sense when it comes to our politics. But what the left is good at doing is emoting and getting their voters to become completely emotional on certain topics, on certain issues, and so on, etc. So right now, one of the things that's happening is J.D. Vance is being labeled as weird. Now, you and I look at this and you're like, that won't play. This is silly. That's not going to work. Oh, contraire, mon frere. I encourage you to read some of the left-wing stuff that's out there. I was reading a column. Where is this from? This was a lefty. I was reading a column earlier over the weekend, and it's pretty lengthy. I honestly didn't read the entire thing because I was like, all right, I get the point, and I had already read a buttload of it. But what is it called? Let me see if I can find it here. It's basically a woman that was totally enamored. Okay, here it is. The thrill of taking a huge risk on Kamala Harris, and it's one of these white liberal women for Kamala Harris. And I want to encourage Republicans, listen, or challenge Republicans, don't take this lady lightly. You and I look at her and we're like, dude, this lady has absolutely nothing to offer. We're going to go over some of her record. We're going to give you Kamala Harris from A to Z. Daily Wire had a fascinating article. Also, I'm going to reiterate some of the things that we talked about last week and even more stuff that has come out. I did not know that Kamala Harris was so instrumental in Proposition 47 in California. Proposition 47 being, it's the reason why you see a lot of these smash and grabs going on in California, where literally if someone steals up to $950, they can, they can run home scot-free. I told you a story a long time ago, Forgotten Man, that used to produce the show under Larry Elder and Tatum, and he talked about going into I believe it was Home Depot at one point. He had saved his money. He wanted to buy a specific type of tool. He has a hobby that he fixes stuff up on the weekend, sells it, all this kind of stuff. And so he was going in to buy this specific type of tool, and a gentleman came into that very Home Depot. Matter of fact, it was a Home Depot that I used to work in California. It's pretty crazy. But a gentleman came into that Home Depot and he stole that tool and walked out with it. So you have Forgotten Man sitting there purchasing the tool, and he's watching the dude grab the tool and just walk out the front of the store with it. but there was nothing that could be done because it was $950 or less than $950. So you sit there and you think, what am I doing? I mean, I'm sitting here, I'm busting my butt, I'm saving my money, I'm doing the right thing, and then you have legislators in California that will introduce this Prop 47 where people can just come in and steal. It's the craziest thing ever. Well, Kamala Harris was part of that. But to get back to this issue with J.D. Vance, one of the things with politics is do not allow yourself to be defined. Have you ever maybe you wanted to see a movie and somebody was like, this movie is this, and that. Oh, it was boring or it was great. And then you go see it and it's a letdown. Or maybe you dated someone or maybe you were on a blind date or somebody said, I got to introduce you to this person. They're going to be like this. They're going to be like that. Or I think you'll be attracted to them because of this. And then it's an absolute letdown. That's what defining political opponents does. And that's what's happening to J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is a great fit for President Trump. But I got to tell you, they've got to get on the ball. I appreciate what I hear J.D. Vance saying in these rallies with former President Donald Trump, but you cannot allow the left to define you, all right? Otherwise it's curtains. And when I saw this happening, even though J.D. Vance is speaking great, he sounds great when I hear him on the stump. But when I think about all the other people that need to be reached, I'm cautioning Republicans, do not take this Kamala Harris train, if you will, lightly, because it's all hands on deck. We've watched the media completely switch, completely pivot to making this chick sound like she's the next coming of Jesus, if you will. I mean, it's the craziest thing ever. We've had the biggest story, some of the biggest stories in American history occurred just within the last couple of weeks with the president dropping out of the race, deciding not to, being forced out of the race, and then another president and an attempted assassination on his life, which we'll get into that. Even more information keeps coming out with that story, which is just absolutely weird. And you have Google trying to memory hold that situation. But J.D. Vance cannot be framed as weird. This means that the Trump campaign right away, they need to start hitting Kamala Harris on her policies, and they need to start hitting her hard. And I'm going to say something. I know it's going to make some of you guys mad, but I don't care. I want to win. Trump using lying Kamala, not going to work. It's not going to happen this time. I don't even... He used lying. That was way back in 2016. And I get it. It worked. It was effective. But now you're looking at people that are asking the question. Guys, you got to understand. The American electorate, I hate to say this, but a great portion of the American electorate are just dumb, especially when it comes to the issue of politics. They're emotional. And that's what Kamala Harris and her team understands. So if you frame J.D. Vance as weird, before you get to date the guy, people are now, even though it's Kamala Harris, frankly, she's awkward. She's weird. But now that J.D. Vance is being framed as weird, you know what's going to happen when the independents and the moderates look at J.D. Vance? They're going to start saying, he's kind of weird. Never, ever, ever let the opposition frame you. J.D. Vance, you got to get on it. Listen, I think there's still time. I think they can. I think that the Trump-Vance ticket can tear up Kamala Harris, but it's time to start hitting her policy, and it's time to start making it known. We don't have a second to wait. We cannot let this lady get in office. She will be a disaster. We'll talk about that. My name is Carl Jackson.
Guys, I want to talk to you about wealth protection research. At the very heart of our democracy lies a principle that we hold sacred. It's free speech. It's the cornerstone that supports every freedom that we cherish. Yet in today's digital age, discussions about our wealth, our rights, and our future are being silenced or overshadowed in mainstream narratives, leaving many feeling voiceless in conversations crucial to our financial independence and security. This is where wealth protection research steps in. They're armed with a mission that's never been more critical. Wealth protection research is not a financial advisory firm. They are defenders of of free speech, committed to giving a voice to the silence. Wealth Protection Research tirelessly seeks out financial experts. These are the voices that challenge prevailing narratives, especially as we navigate the uncertainties of the 2024 election. Wealth Protection Research has created a 2024 Election Wealth Protection Report. This free report highlights the 3 best ideas for protecting and growing your money heading into the 2024 election. It contains ideas the mainstream media won't touch, and listeners can get it completely free. All you have to do is text the word ideas to 76626 to claim your free copy. If you believe in the sanctity of free speech and the importance of financial freedom, act now. Text the word ideas to 76626 to claim your free copy of this 2024 Election Protection Report. It's time to widen the scope of what we're told, to hear the ideas the establishment does not think you can handle, and to take control of our financial destinies. Text ideas to 76626 to claim your free copy. If you text the word ideas today, you'll also get a free gold investment kit from Wealth Protection Research, sponsored by Augusta Precious Metals.
All right, I'm also going to prove to you that the Democrat Party is not a Democratic Party. We talked about this last week. We'll talk about that again. Oops, I just knocked Tony off the screen. Let's go to, before I go forward, though, I want to go to Tony in Tampa if he's still there. I just knocked my screen down. But Tony, all right, Tony, welcome to the program. You've got the mic.
Carl, thank you very much, man. You know what I'm not worried about? I'm not worried about the Democrats. What worries me is the media, because the media is the propaganda arm of the Democrat Party. And the American people sit in front of the TV, sucking their thumbs and believing everything the media says about the Democrats, how great they are. And they got Hollywood, and they've got Hollywood, and they got the media. That's what bothers me. And Trump would be a great president, but I don't think he's going to win, man, because the media is such a powerful force for the Democrat Party. It's a propaganda arm of the Democrat Party, and they're very forceful. And I believe what you were saying, Carl. I believe what you were saying before you came on. The American people, the American people, they're just too stupid to figure out what's going on. And you know what bothers me about that, Carl, is this. I don't care if they slit their throats, but I got to go down with them.
I know it is a scary thought, but let me say this. We can win. And listen, I think Kamala Harris is having a honeymoon. I feel like she's starting to plateau. But as she starts to plateau, we've got to make sure, and thank you for the call, Tony. You want to call in 844-900-7243, 844-900-7243. We've got to start framing her, and we've got to frame the Democrat Party. I'll get to this article soon that Victor Davis Hanson wrote, A Coup is a Coup is a Coup. I want to remind you guys that this party is not the Democrat Party. And that's a message that I think all Republicans should be sharing. Frankly, not just Trump, not just Vance, but you, Tony in Tampa, me, Carl Jackson. It's something that we all should be sharing. I'm not even sure that many Democrats quite understand that they have been finagled out of their vote. But we've seen several coups, 3, as a matter of fact, that Victor Davis Hanson writes about within the Democrat Party just since 2020. We'll get into that a little later. I wanted to play this video clip for you if we have time here, Zach. This is, I want you to, I do want you to understand what we're up against, but I do think that we can win this and we can fight this back. So here's an influencer on the White Women for Kamala Harris. It was a Zoom that says that white women should never correct black women. So understand, this is what we're going to be up against, but it's okay. Here's how we're going to defeat Kamala Harris, and this is what needs to happen. Tie Kamala Harris's behind to her policies, which are Joe Biden's policies, which are the Democrat Party's policies. You've got to start tying her and connecting the dots. That is starting to happen, but it needs to happen with a quickness. Maybe there was some hesitation because perhaps the Trump-Vance team may have felt as though, listen, we don't know if she's going to be president, and listen, it's a legitimate concern. You never know with these Democrats. But frankly, I think if she's not, at this point, it would hurt Democrats, and there's just not enough time. And it's exactly why they brought Kamala Harris in the first place so late in the game. It's so that she couldn't be defined. That's why we have to work quickly to make sure we do define her. And it's not going to be lying Kamala. It's got to be the policies. You got to make people understand that the pain that they're feeling is directly linked to Kamala. And as a matter of fact, I'm starting to wonder if she played more of a role than I ever thought in the administration. But this is what we're up against. This is video clip number 3. Again, an influencer on the White Women for Kamala Harris Zoom call. Let's roll it, por favor, Zach.
We are here because, as if you were here earlier, you've heard BIPOC women have tapped us in as white women to step up, listen, and get involved this election season. This is a really important time, and we all need to use our voices and influence for the greater good. No matter who you are all influencers in some way. So tonight, I'm going to share some do's and don'ts for getting involved in politics online and navigating the toxicity that comes with it. And spoiler alert, as much as the toxicity can come from the outside, it can come from us too. So first, don't isolate yourself. We can do our best work when we're in community together like we are tonight, because the toxic feels smaller when we support each other. But don't make it about yourself. As white women, we need to use our privilege to make positive changes. If you find yourself talking over or speaking for BIPOC individuals, or God forbid, correcting them, just take a beat. And instead, we can put our listening ears on. So do learn from and amplify the voices of those who have been historically marginalized, and use the privilege you have in order to push for systemic change. As white people, we have a lot to learn and unlearn. So do check your blind spots.
That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. White liberal women, leftist women, in my opinion, are one of the biggest reasons America is in the position that we're in. They've been a huge part of this downfall. The fact that white women can't check a white woman or a black woman, or a minority woman is stupid. What do you mean? We don't have the same goals? We don't have the same dreams? How is it that this chick that's on this video Zoom call is not the one that's running for president? The white chick is not the one running for president. It's the black chick. But this chick is the one talking about the privilege. You see how stupid these people are? Oh my Lord, Jesus, help me. My head is going to explode. Iron sharpens iron. I don't give a damn what color your skin is. You can always learn something from someone. Guys, do you want to put up with this crap for another 4 years? You have an opportunity to stop it. It comes this November. This nonsense, this DEI, this CRT, the privilege that we should be talking about is family privilege. When black families were together at an 80% rate between 1890 and to the late 1960s, until the Democrat Party systematically broke our families up.
You might have heard Mike Lindell and MyPillow no longer have the support of the big box stores or the shopping channels that they used to. They've been part of this cancel culture, so they want to pass savings directly on to you, my listeners. They have a $25 extravaganza. When Mike started MyPillow, it was just one product, but with the help of his dedicated employees, they now have hundreds of products, some that you may even know about. Obviously, you know about the MyPillow. So here's what Mike is doing to get the word out. I'm inviting my listeners to go to mypillow.com for their $25 extravaganza. They have a 2-pack multi-use MyPillows for just $25. MyPillow sandals are just $25. Their 6-pack towel sets are just $25. Brand new pack of dish towels, $25. So for the first time ever, the premium MyPillows with the all-new Giza fabric are just $25 as well. And orders over $75 receive free shipping. All you have to do to get this amazing offer is go to mypillow.com, use the promo code Carl, C-A-R-L, or give them a call, 800-858-0263. That's promo code Carl. Guys, listen, I appreciate you tuning in to this edition of the Carl Jackson Show podcast. your daily dose of objective truth in a world of confusion and lies. Please, again, remember to subscribe to the podcast wherever you go to get your podcast, Apple, Google, Spotify, and Rumble. Don't forget to check out below. You can find out where to get the merch, carljacksonmerch.ideamortar.com. T-shirts are there. And until next time, guys, don't grow weary doing good. God bless you.